However, we are moving on. Big breaking news which is coming in. The provocation template is now out in the Bareilly violation. There are massive revelations which are now coming out. Let's get you the inside scoop from the UP police. Well, what we are picking up is that first revelation which is coming in is that Tauqeer and his aides incited the mob. These are details which are coming in. Tauqeer Raza, of course, is the cleric who is currently in jail as well for having incited a mob. We are also picking up from our sources within the police that there were incendiary slogans which were chanted by the mob as well, which led to the riots which we saw in Bereli. Also, we are picking up that there was Nadeem, who's a leader of the IMC, the party of Bareilly Violence, accused Tauqeer Raza as well as his associates who had incited the mob. Well, according to the FIR which has been filed by the Bareilly police against Tauqeer Raza, after Nadeem and his associates incited the mob, they said, today we will accomplish our goal. In fact, Tauqeer Raza allegedly also said that today we must disrupt the atmosphere of the city, even if it means killing policemen and showing our power to others. In fact, let's go across to Adib. Adib, this is very, very disturbing. Yes, we know that Tauqeer Raza has been arrested and he has been charged with inciting mobs, but the kind of things that he allegedly said, we are not even going to repeat some of them because they are way too insightful in a manner that they have been spoken. But this is very disturbing.
I will definitely make see Tauqeer and his associates, Nadeem and Nafis. They were planning this for at least a week, and this is the police revelations, police probe clearly reveals that what kind of planning was done for the Bareilly violence. And in fact, Tauqeer and his associates, they were the one responsible for sending messages and several of the letters in the WhatsApp group that they created especially for this Bareilly violence. And now the police, they are in the police custody. They have been sent to the judicial custody. So now the police, when they are investigating their mobile phone, when they were going through the mobile phone, they have come to this point that several of these insightful messages were sent to the public at large. And in fact, Nadeem was the person who was sending insightful messages and videos just a day before the Bareilly violence, which is on Thursday. The Bareilly police has also confirmed, in fact, the SSP of Bareilly confirmed that they gave a letter to Maulana Tauqeer Raza, gave a letter to the police that he is calling off the event. But Nadeem said that this is a fake letter which has been peddled by the police department, and he incited the mob to gather at the Islamia ground in Bareilly after the Friday prayers. So now the police probe clearly reveals that how Maulana Tauqeer Raza and both of his close aides, Nadeem and Nafis, were responsible for inciting the mob.
Right.
The kind of messages and the kind of words that they used to gather the mob clearly shows that what kind of planning was done by them.
In fact, that's very important, Nadeem, because now we must also look at a possible larger conspiracy. Was it spontaneous or was it pre-planned? Was there a larger conspiracy which was webbing together and inciting a violence by a mob? Because interestingly, one of the things that the FIR says, Adib, is that the cops were attacked with sharp weapons, and a lot of these weapons, bullets which were fired, were from illegal weapons. How and why were weapons brought in if there was no plan, if there was no conspiracy?
Well, Meghna, see, this is what the police believes. Police says at least 5 days of pre-planning was done before this particular violence that took place in Bereli. And in fact, after the violence, the police recovered some of the illegal country-made weapons from the spot. They were ammunition. Police also recovered bottles, and at that time, the Bareilly police SSP Anurag Arya confirmed that in the bottles we could smell the petroleum and liquid petrol. So it was clearly that they were going to use the petrol bombs at the police scene. Police also said in their statement that the mob tried to snatch away the rifles of the police personnel who were deployed at that particular point. So it was all pre-planning, and in fact, when Nadeem and Nafis were arrested by the Bareilly police also confirmed that people from outside the Bareilly were called for this particular protest. So it was not an spontaneous protest or reaction from the people in Bareilly, but it was all pre-planned. They planned the conspiracy. They had this particular conspiracy to call people from outside the state, to call people from outside the Bereli to incite the mob, to attack the police personnel. At least 22 police personnel were injured on Friday when the Bareilly violence broke out. In fact, some of the police personnel also suffered injuries and they were rushed to the hospitals. These are all the points which were confirmed by the Bareilly police, and this shows the kind of planning which was done by Maulana Tauqeer Raza and his associates.
Absolutely. There were injuries, there were gunshot injuries to the policemen as well, which is why questions are being asked. Was this all pre-planned? This is what the FIR says. But do stay on with us because, well, there is more breaking news which is coming in. Now, viewers, we've witnessed what really happened in Bereli last week. We saw what has happened, the kind of violence, and now we are telling you about the larger plot. But today, on the auspicious occasion of Dussehra, the police officials have held a flag march to prevent any untoward incident, to tell the residents not to be fearful, that everything is under control. In fact, you can see the visuals there on your screens. The administration is leaving no stone unturned to maintain peace in the area that was hit by the violence last week. Watch this report by Abhishek from Bereli.
बरेली में जिस तरीके से हिंसा हुई उसके बाद से ही सुरक्षा व्यवस्था को लेकर लगातार जो बरेली पुलिस प्रशासन है वो पेट्रोलिंग कर रही है। फुट पेट्रोलिंग और फ्लैग मार्च के जरिए इलाकों में शांति बहाली और विश्वास बहाली की जो प्रक्रिया है उसको शुरू किया जा रहा है। आज विजयदशमी का त्योहार मनाया जा रहा है पूरे देश में धूमधाम से। आज किसी तरीके से कोई विघ्न ना हो और शांति के साथ लोग इस त्योहार को मनाएं, इसको लेकर जो एक फुट मार्च है वो यहाँ पर निकाला जा रहा है, जिसमें महिला कमांडोज एसओजी जो है वो शामिल है। इसके अलावा जो महिला पुलिसकर्मी है उनकी पूरी टीम है। इस टीम को जो यहाँ पर एसपी साउथ है अंशिका वर्मा वो लीड कर रही है। साथ में एसडीएम मौजूद हैं और लगातार उन इलाकों में जाया जा रहा है जो कि हिंसा के वक्त जो है वो हिंसा प्रभावित थे। ये आजमनगर का पूरा इलाका है और यहाँ भी जो लोग हैं इनसे यहाँ पर संवाद स्थापित किया जा रहा है, बातचीत की जा रही है। फुट पेट्रोलिंग के जरिए लोगों से जो है विश्वास बहाली की जो प्रक्रिया है उसको तेज किया जा रहा है और कोशिश यही की जा रही है कि लोग जो है उनसे बात करके और उनकी बात को समझा जाए और लोगों के अंदर जो एक विश्वास है उसको यहाँ पर पूरा किया जाए। एसओजी की टीम भी साथ में मौजूद है ताकि किसी भी हालात से निपटने के लिए जो है वो टीम तैयार रहे और विजयदशमी के त्योहार में कोई खलल ना आए। और इसके साथ साथ कल जो जुमे की नमाज होने वाली है उसको लेकर जो तैयारियां हैं वो आज से ही शुरू कर दी गई है। उसको लेकर भी जो लोग हैं उनसे बातचीत की जा रही है। तो अभी फुट पेट्रोलिंग जो है वो तमाम उन इलाकों में किया जा रहा है। हिंसा प्रभावित जो भी इलाके थे वहां पर इसी तरीके से लगातार जो बातचीत है, जो पेट्रोलिंग है वो देखने को मिल रहा है।
So no stone is being left unturned to ensure that there is peace on the ground. Well, on that note, we are going to be wrapping up this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Siddharth joins you on the other side.